I present you now a second example in solving quadratic functions by completing the square. We have the quadratic function 2x squared minus 10x minus 3 equaling 0. And what we do after such a question is presented to us is this. We first realize that uh, the first digit is 2x squared, and then we have minus 10x, we have minus 3, and we have got the answer, which is 0. So what we need to do is we need to reduce the 2x squared to 1. And so what we do is that we divide every section of this equation by 2. So we have 2x squared divided by 2, minus 10x divided by 2, minus 3 divided by 2, and then we've got 0. And so we end up having x squared minus 5x minus 3 over 2 equaling 0. And the next thing we're going to do now is to push the last section of the left side of this equation to the other side of the equation. That is, we push negative 3 over 2 across the equal sign, and hence we get x squared minus 5x equaling to 3 over 2. And so at this time, what we do now is we come back to the equation. And what we do is we are now going to take 10x, 10x, and divide it. No, sorry, we're not going to take 10x, but rather we're going to take 5x and divide it by 2, and then square the solution, and the answer we get is 25 over 4. And so once we find this 25 over 4, we get back to this part of the our equation, and we add the answer of 25 over 4 to both sides of this equation. This is basically to give it balance so that we don't lose the equation. So we add the left side with 25 over 4, and we also add the other side with 25 over 4. And so what we get is x squared minus 5x plus 25 over 4 equaling now 31 over 4. At this juncture now, we can still get back to our coefficient of x here, which is 5, and divide it by, this is actually negative 5, divide it by 2, and then create brackets, take note of x by writing x, and then finding the answer we got of dividing the coefficient of 5x, negative 5x, sorry, which is negative 5 over 2, and then squaring it up. So in this instance now we have actually provided a perfect square, and then we forego the 25 over 4, and we bring back the 31 over 4, which is on the other side of the equation. And having done such, we now have to solve for x. And since we know that x minus 5 over 2 squared is equal to 1 over 4, what we want to do now is to eliminate the square, and basically we're just going to find the square root. And that's what we do on this side of the equation. We find the square root, and so when you find the square root of x minus 5 over 2, what we find is x minus 5 over 2 equaling this figure. you must be aware that when you're finding the square root of the other section, the answer is always positive and negative, not just one sign. This is something that students many times will miss out. And so we have now x minus 5 over 2 is equal to negative square root of 31 over 2, and x minus 5 over 2 is equal to the root of 31 over 2. And so these now become our answers. X is now equal to the root of 31 over 2 plus 5 over 2 and minus the root of 31 over 2 plus 5 over 2. I hope you've enjoyed this session. Once again, I want you to press the like button if you have enjoyed my session, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, please kindly subscribe and tell your friends and colleagues about our channel. We're here to serve you better. Looking forward to seeing you on the other side. Again, have a great moment.